Every founder wants to get more deal and full pipeline of potential clients. However, unfortunately, only few can succeed with this task. If you're planning to expand in 2025, this video is for you. Because today I will share with you full breakdown of the elements you need to consider before you build in sales campaign for 3 specific markets: Europe, Asia, and US. Hello everyone, my name is Adam Skoneczny and you are watching Go Global Asia podcast. I've been living in Asia 8 years and for last 7 years as a CEO of EVIT organization, I've been helping Asian IT companies to expand globally. In this podcast, I am discussing everything related to sales, global expansion and collaboration with Western clients. Hello everyone, welcome in another episode. Today we have a very special episode because today I will share with you very practical elements that you need to consider when you're building strategy. So it's not the theory or it's not the elements that you need to write down and consider when you're building the strategy, but it's actually elements that you need to apply when you do any activities during the building the pipeline. Doesn't matter, is it in your country or it's offshore or it's nearshore. So guys, let's get right into it and share with you the criteria I have chosen that we will be analyzing deeply. First of all, it's how long it's taking to close the deal. That's the sales cycle. How many months from beginning of lead generation to closing the deal. Second, buyer trust model. Basically, how they make decision and what you should do to win the deal. So here we can consider logic, we can consider emotion, we can consider case study and many more elements. Next, best channel to sales. I guess this will be the best part where we will be talking specifically about the channels we should consider to use to enter specific market. Next, biggest objection. So what I want to give you in this point is actually the mindset of the people, what they will be paying attention to when you're entering their market and when you're trying to win the deal with them. And the last thing, what is really also very important, it's payment terms. So how they look at the financial aspect. Is there any risk or there is very trust from between vendor and the client? This is very important element that I want to also include in this breakdown. So guys, let me get right into it and start with the first region, which is Asia. So guys, before we start, I just want to let you know one more thing. Whenever I will be talking about the regions and the businesses like partners that we want to collaborate, I will be consider SMEs. Okay, this will be not video about the corporates, this will be not video about startup. Mostly I will be talking about the SMEs. So let's start with Asia. About the sales cycle in Asia, I say it's a medium time or even pretty fast. When we work with SMEs here, then the sales cycle can take anything from 1 month up to the 4 or 5 months. Regarding the trust and how we should build this collaboration with the client, here most is emotional and partnership approach. What that means? They really care who you are, they really care what person you are. They will be not paying so much attention to the previous case study or recommendation from some unknown client. Obviously, if you have some partner like who can introduce you and short the time of building a relationship, that will be much better. Regarding the sales channels, here I can mention about the 2 main channels. First of all, when we consider about the cold outreach, we can do it and it's pretty effective. What you can use is basically LinkedIn or email, but keep in the mind that it must be super personalized. And when I say super personalized, I don't mean just put the name of the receiver and the name of the company. I mean here on the little bit deeper level, such as demo for their product, such as sharing very specific pain point and how you solve the pain point of those companies. Second sales channel that actually I already mentioned is referral. So if you have a friend who know your potential client, ask them to introduce you. That will help you to shorten the time of building a relationship. There will be much more trust instantly. So what kind of objections they may have? And here I also will come back to the previous point. The main objection is that they don't know you. So sometimes you must invest a little bit more time. What you can consider is if the client is offshore, you can fly to there, you can go meet them, drink the coffee, have a dinner, lunch, wherever. Anything that will shorten the relationship gap and also give you opportunity and the client to know each other. Very, very important is what kind of emotion they have in towards to you. Last, what I want to consider is about the payment risk. And if I would talk about the startup, then maybe this would be very high. In SMEs, I would say the payment risk, like if the client pay on the time, if they pay full invoice, if they pay at all, it's maybe medium and low. We need to consider that some of the countries in Asia might be having higher risk and some of them might have a lower, so I would say it's a kind of medium. So guys, to summarize, is this market potential? I believe it's very potential. If you choose right countries, such as Korea, Thailand, maybe Singapore, or Hong Kong, maybe Japan, if you know how to work with those people, you have a very, very high chance to win the deal. What will be important as well is the sales channel. If you choose reference, then you might be very successful. And don't forget to actually fly to the client, spend some time, or invite them to your office. If you apply this kind of points, elements to your strategy, you have very high chance to be successful. Okay guys, let's move to the second market or second region, which is US. And here, let's start with the sales cycle time. I can say that US is pretty fast. The people are making the decision very fast. So making or signing contract can take anything from 1 month up to 3-4 months. So it's pretty fast, especially when we consider SMEs. Second, what we want to consider is the buyer motivation, their mindset. And here, clients, they really care about ROI, what they can get, what value you bring, and many practical elements that will help them understand what they can get from the collaboration with you. So you can see this is completely opposite and different than what was happening in Asia. In Asia, people care much more about the relationship, about the person behind the company. However, in US, everybody care about the business, about return on investment, about money, about the value somebody bringing to the table. What's the best sales channel for this market? I would recommend cold approach such as email and LinkedIn, converting very well. More difficult it's obviously to join to some kind of offline meeting, but what you can do, you can join online meeting and prospect those people who you met online on some event, trade show. Prospect them through the LinkedIn as a cold prospect. This is also very good strategy. Please don't forget, when you're building any content to those people, make sure you talk about the value you deliver, make sure you're talking about the money, make sure you're talking about return on investment, make sure you talk about the problem you solve, because those are the elements they want to hear. So what would be their main objections? The main objection is the way they will try to clarify if the value you promise you can deliver. So what they want to see other case study. They want to see the video of your previous clients, what they talk about you. They want to see some messages from previous clients. So basically, social proof is the best way to remove objection from the US client. Last element, I want to talk about payment reliability. And here it might be something that surprises you. We might consider US as a very wealthy country, but from my experience, we actually notice that many companies they might not pay you basically. You need to keep it in this in mind. So what is kind of protection for you? Actually, in US, it's pretty normal to take a deposit, especially if you are able to build the trust in front of the client. Then taking 30% deposit is very normal. Guys, obviously, when you take deposit, this is building kind of another objection and higher risk for the client. So you can consider not take your deposit, but then think how you protect yourself if the client doesn't pay. And then we move to the last region, which is Europe. And here, let's start with the sales cycle. Regarding the sales cycle, I think it's the slowest of the all. And I think it's because of the market condition now in the Europe. Before, in 2000, let's say, 20, it was much faster. However, now the clients, they spend much more time to consider, to compare other options, to make sure that they're doing a good deal. So the closing the deal is can take anything from two months up to 6-7 months. Regarding the trust, it's also a little bit complicated because the trust you should try to build on the multiple levels. It's not like in the other regions where I give you, oh, this is the point that you should do. No, here is different. First of all, you need to consider about return on investment. You should consider about the social growth, same like in the US. But the second thing, you need to also consider to build the trust person to person and business to business. How you can do it? Basically, you need to fly to the location of the client, sit in front of them, and discuss with them. When you go there and you discuss with them, it's not like in Asia where you're just trying to show that you're a nice person, trustworthy. No, when you go there, you talk about business, you talk about the value you deliver, you talk about how you help client and what is your mission. Regarding best sales channels, there are two ways that I would say are the best. First of all, it's a warm intro. So if you have a friend who can introduce you to the company, definitely this is the great way to collaborate. Second are trade show. And here if you just hope to go to the trade show and win the deal, meet somebody, this is not the best way you can do it. Actually, what you should do, if you're thinking to go to the trade show in Europe, you need to run first cold campaign, inform the people that you are coming, and then when you go there, meet them at the location. Why like this? Because in the Europe, people are a little bit cold. I mean, in the sense that it's not so easy for them to make relationship, even on the trade show. So if you give them heads up, hi, I'm coming, I would like to meet you there because I know you will be there, they will be much more open to meet you and to talk to you. Regarding the payment, I think they are highly reliable. I never had any issues with a European client regarding their payment. The thing is, what you might consider maybe extend the payment terms. They really like if they can pay in 60 days or something similar that give them more space to reuse the money, let's say like that. So guys, let's summarize this. When we're thinking about the Asia, we consider that the sales cycle is pretty fast, and when you enter in the market, you need to consider about building personal relation with the client. The best way how you can do it is basically be introduced by another party, or fly to the location and discuss with the client directly. You can meet them at their office or at the trade show. Both options are possible. Regarding the payment terms, you need to consider and you need to look into the specific market, like Japan or Hong Kong. They're much more trustworthy countries. However, in some other areas, you might face some issues with the payment terms. Regarding their objections, you need to build trust to the person more than trust to the business. According to US, then it's pretty fast to enter the market. People making decisions very, very fast. Usually the main objections will be about the business, about return on investment, about the cost, and other elements that we can consider when we talk about the value you deliver. Next, according to trust building, you need to think about case study and other proofs that showing you are able to deliver the value to the business. The best sales channels are cold approach, such as email and LinkedIn. And the last thing, according to the payment method and the payment capabilities, let's say like this, of US client, you need to be a little bit cautious. And the last is a Euro. When we're talking about market entry, it's medium speed. The people take a little bit more time to make the decision. About the objections, the main objections is we will be building trust to your business, provide them social proof, or go to the client and visit them at their location. According to the sales channel, the one of the best channels will be trade shows that you can join. But remember to run direct campaigns, direct call campaigns, before actually going to that country for registration. According to the payment, the last thing what you need to consider is actually pretty safe market. Only think about extending payment terms, so giving more freedom and flexibility to your European client. So guys, what I want you to do as a next step. First of all, you should build your strategy. If you don't have your strategy yet, if you don't know what market you should approach, I don't recommend you using this video as a main suggestion for you to choose the market. I actually have another video where I am discussing deeply about the markets, and in that video you will find many information that will help you choose the right market. After that, when you choose the right market, take these tactics, elements from today's video and implement it to your strategy. And the last element, you need to basically execute. There is nothing that can happen without execution. So start executing and get your pipeline full. Thank you so much. This was Go Global Asia Podcast, and I see you in the next episode. Bye bye.